Hello, this is Mark Svoboda. I'm the director of the National Drought Mitigation Center here at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln and one of the co-founders of the U.S. Drought Monitor. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the history of the U.S. Drought Monitor, who uses it, how it's evolved over the years, and how it's become really the go-to state of the science for drought monitoring and early warning in the United States. Well, we kind of were going in sort of a research mode on this initially. The Drought Mitigation Center had been putting together some products, some individual drought indicators. One was this standardized precipitation index, trying to find alternatives to the Palmer. And so what we did was we were starting to look at various aspects of like soil moisture, stream flow, and precipitation and temperature anomalies, and trying to combine these into one map. So the first map kind of looked like this. We initially were thinking, oh, we'll put this out sort of on a quarterly basis. You can see the logos right up there in the top left. This was the very first sort of experimental map that we shared with both the higher-ups, if you will, within USDA, NOAA, and the Drought Center. And this was quote-unquote experimental, which we labeled up there pretty clearly. So in May of 1999, you could see what led to the expansion of the Drought Monitor quickly is that all that yellow and red up in the northeast part of the United States, that was a drought that developed pretty quickly and pretty severely. And they saw our prototype and they said, hey, we need something to show drought, and they weren't too hot on using the Palmer. So they kind of latched onto this, and in May, they saw this in late May, early June. They said, well, let's go operational with this and take it away from quarterly. We're gonna make it operational, go weekly. And the first map was launched in August of 1999. So over the years, we've been able to take advantage of new technology. We've been able to take advantage of a lot more that we can use from satellites, from space, better real-time observation networks. When we first started, we really only had about half a dozen indicators that we could get in even on a weekly basis. Now we have dozens. And so as we look at this map that you see, you can see a lot more accuracy and precision in these maps. Sub-county scale, for example, when we first started, it was multi-county scale. And so over the years, we just continue to be able to bring in new products as they come online. So the reason we can do that is because the U.S. Drought Monitor is flexible enough. It's not a fixed algorithm. It's a combination of indicators all based on what we call a ranking percentile. And that allows us to compare sort of apples and oranges, and they don't always have to be apples and apples. They don't all have to start on the same date or end on the same date, but it does allow us to compare different indicators in the hydrologic cycle that we do use to determine what the severity of the drought is. So this is just another schematic here that shows how you can layer these different indicators on top of each other, drop those over. The Drought Monitor then is drawn up by the authors on a rotating basis across about 11 or 12 authors, depending on what we've got and what each group is able to contribute to the process any given year. And this allows us then to geospatially look at statistics like the severity, the percent area, the amount of people being affected, and the impact types. And so that's the other thing that helps set the Drought Monitor, made it up a little different than other products, is that we have a real-time network of over 400 people that validate this map every week, and they also ground truth the data. They're sort of our sanity check. They're our eyes and ears, and they help us tie the impacts to the indicators on the ground so that it reflects reality.